Hello my dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. I have been wondering whether I should make this video today because I typically want to stick to positive content and really trying to talk about books that I really love. And even if I have to talk about books that I didn't like or didn't specifically love for some reason, I really try to do it in the most respectful way so that it doesn't damage anyone's reputation or it doesn't damage anyone's livelihood. So typically I will stick to only positive content on my channel. At least that's what I'm trying to do most of the time. I have had a few videos where I did like an anti-TBR video or talking about books that I dislike. It's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to avoid, but if I have to choose between making a positive video on my channel and choosing to do a drama filled or spilling the tea or whatever kind of video that will get me the most views or likes at this time, because this is what works at the moment. The algorithm will just throw all of the tea at you if you ask it. So essentially, I know that that's something that will probably grow my channel if I focus on it, but it's something that will probably not be the best thing for me because I really don't like sticking to the negative. I really am the kind of person who loves to think about positive things, to think about or read about positive things, if you will. Don't get me wrong, obviously, just like the next person, I will gravitate towards wanting to know what the tea is, but I'm not going to get out of my way to make content about it. So to make this very long intro short, I'm going to be talking about Karina Halle today. So Karina Halle has had a very unfortunate month this month, and I can imagine that for her this has been a nightmare what has happened to her, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about her situation because she has posted a very open and honest post on her Instagram. I'm going to try to link her handle in the description so you can check it out if you haven't already, but you can find her on Instagram. It's quite easy to look up the author Karina Halle. She has an open and honest conversation, if you will, also on her stories and through her threads, but mostly on Instagram. She posted this post where she explained the full situation where there has been a situation on X, formerly known as Twitter, where someone commented about one of her books called Smut. I think it was something like, oh, this is my nightmare, having to read about like smutty romance books or something like that. And then the problem was not essentially that specific post. It was more so in the comments where people started to go off on Karina Halle and romance books in general. And then one specific person took it upon themselves to make a very horrid and horrific comment about Karina Halle, about a certain book that she wrote. She made some very harmful and frankly untrue remarks about that book that really are going to be off-putting for people who have not yet read Karina Halle. They're accusing Karina Halle of having kind of like a pedophile plot within one of her books, which is definitely not the case. It's very, very unfortunate when you haven't read a book and you share an opinion on it. For me, that is something that is really harmful because you essentially don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't go out of my way to comment a lot about a book that I haven't read, and then this person was kind of making it seem like she had read the book and had commented about it having content that is not savory. So essentially this comment really blew up, and Karina Halle said, like, you know, sometimes people go on the internet and they can be really vicious and they can be really harmful towards someone's character, someone's image, someone's very hard work, because Karina Halle has been writing for I think about 20 years now, 15 to 20 years, and to have this hard-working author get dragged through the mud by someone who just decided to go on the internet and talk about a book they haven't even read and just drag their name through the mud. That's just not okay. It's just not okay. So what I was thinking is, how can I assist to kind of get positive light into the conversation and into the discourse that is going on right now that is surrounding Karina Halle. And I read that Karina Halle had posted herself, if you want to support me, just read my books. Read my books and promote them, talk about them if you like them, and just let people know that there are books that are kind of at the base of the romance community. Karina Halle is one of the OG romance writers, and she is such a prolific writer. She has written all kinds of romances. She's written contemporary, she has written paranormal romances, she has written pirate romances, she has written romances that are based off of mythology, she has written spicy romances, she has written emotional romances, she has written forbidden romances. Anything that you can basically think of, Karina Halle has already done. She has such a huge backlist, and to just go around spreading lies about an author is just despicable to me. So I really want to come here and shed some positive light on the works that I have read by Karina Halle. I am nowhere near done with her backlist because she has such a huge backlist. I've read, I think, only 7 books by Karina Halle, and I'm going to talk about them today and let you know what they're about, and definitely put them on your radar if you haven't read them yet. Please check out Karina Halle's Instagram to go through her post first to see what the situation is, and then also go through her Goodreads to see that she has so many amazing works. Anything that you may be looking for, you can find in her backlist. There is something that's going to appeal to you, I am sure of it. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about the couple of books that I've read by Karina Halle, in the hope that if you haven't read them yet, that they're going to be put on your radar and that you may potentially pick them up to support her. For me, the takeaway that I want to give everyone is that we need to support authors. They're making so many people happy with the words that they put on paper, and it's our duty as readers to protect them and to support them and to uplift them and to let them know that we're with them. At least this is my kind of philosophy here. By the way, I met Karina Halle at Rare in Florence last year, and she was so kind and so sweet, and she had a huge line, but she was just happy to meet every single person in line. So I think that just knowing the person behind the whole situation makes it even more some kind of personal to me. Not that I know her personally in a big length, but she was really kind to every person that I saw on her line. So I think that that makes a good and lasting impression on me as a reader as well. So I definitely want to support her in this and just share some love for her book. So yeah, I'm not going to make this any longer. I'm just going to go ahead and dive into the books. I'm going to start with the latest release that I read by this author, and that is A Ship of Bones and Teeth. This is a very interesting book because it features so many different things within it. It's a historical set, fantasy romance, like a romantasy, if you will. It features pirates, sirens, krakens, and interesting different kinds of creatures within the story. We've got a bit of a dark element to it. We've got very good spice within it. It's just a very well crafted book. If you liked Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin, you will potentially like this book as well, though this one is not as dark as Sea of Ruin. It does have dark elements to it, but it's definitely not as dark as Sea of Ruin. It still is a very well executed historical romantasy. The book centers on our heroine, who is a siren. It's actually also kind of loosely based on the Ariel tale. So we've got our heroine who is a teenager. She's a siren. She is a princess, but she's like second or third in line. So she feels like she doesn't really belong within her community of sirens. So she really is longing to be someone else. And she makes this wish. She calls upon this sea witch to make a wish to become a human. The witch grants her wish and she becomes a human at a cost, and she falls in love with Prince Eric. Now, the interesting part is that the retelling definitely heads into a different direction, because Prince Eric turns out to be the villain, and the hero within the book is a pirate. We've got a very interesting setup within this book. I really enjoyed it. I think it's very much worth it to pick it up like during the summertime, because it's very much this very whimsical pirate book that you'll definitely enjoy while reading at the beach or just at your summer holiday retreat. So please check it out, because it's a new release and the audiobook for it is really great as well. The next two books I'm going to talk about are part of the same series. It's the Underworld Gods series. The first book is River of Shadows and the second book is Crown of Crimson. And there's actually more books within the series that I haven't picked up yet, but I'm going to at some point. But I really enjoyed both of these books, so I definitely would recommend them. They're based off of Norse mythology, something that is very intriguing, especially because it's something that is very kind of mystical. There is something very mystical about it, that's what I'm trying to say. We've got our heroine who lives in the States, and she finds out that her father, who actually lives, I think it was in Finland, if I'm not mistaken. He lives in the Nordics of Europe. He has come to pass. So she travels over to Finland, I think, and then she needs to have this funeral for her father. But then some very kind of mysterious things start to happen. She slowly but surely finds out that something very fishy has happened to her dad, and it's not very quite, she's not certain that he actually has passed away. So some very interesting magical things start to happen, and she enters this other realm where there are a lot of mythical creatures there, and she has a romance with a character who represents death. So it's a very intriguing kind of adventure-filled tale, and it's very intriguing in terms of the romance. It's very adventurous, and there's a lot of good spice within it as well. So I would definitely recommend this series as well. Now, moving on to the contemporary books that I've read by this author. The first one is The Pact. This one, I think if you love Candy Steiner's A Love Letter to Whiskey, which is this messy kind of book that has a lot of angst, a lot of right person, wrong time situation going on, and some secret keeping stuff, this book might be something that you might enjoy. This book actually features kind of like a love triangle, though not exactly. We've got a hero and heroine who are part of this friend group. There's 3 persons, 2 guys and a girl, and the girl used to be in a relationship with one of the guys, but they broke up. And the conflict here is that the guy never got over her. So essentially they're still all friends, but the girl has feelings for the other guy, and the other guy is attracted to her. So they have this kind of a secret relationship, and it's a lot of mess, a lot of secret keeping, a lot of kind of, how do you say, angst and tension, and some miscommunication thrown in there as well. I think this book was written maybe, I don't know how many years ago. It very much resembles the stories that were written in like the 2017-2018 period, and I love those kinds of stories. So if you like the angsty, messy, kind of almost like toxic relationships, this one is definitely one that you want to check out. The next book is possibly one of my favorites by Karina Halle. It's called The Forbidden Man. This one features a relationship between an older woman and a younger man. We've got a heroine who is a sports therapist, like a physical therapist, and she gets hired for this huge soccer club, a football club in Europe. She moves there and she has a relationship. She falls in love with one of the players who is quite younger than her. And he is this Mediterranean, very temperamental, very young, and also young in spirit kind of guy. So he really wants to show everyone that he is in love, that he is in love with her specifically, while she wants to keep everything on the down low because for her the situation isn't actually ideal. He's kind of the forbidden man. So we've got again a lot of angst, tension, secret keeping, a lot of spicy times, a lot of goodness packed up within this story. I felt a lot of yearning from the hero's part, and also the heroine was like, she was also pining for him because she wanted to be with him openly as well, but she just did not see how that was possible within the situation that they were in. So I really like this one, and I definitely urge you to check it out as well. So now that I'm talking about all of these contemporary books by Karina Halle, I am noticing a pattern that most of them are forbidden. The next one is no exception. It's called Heatwave. This one features a dead sister's husband or fiance. I don't remember what his role was, but let's say fiance trope. The heroine has a romance with her dead sister's partner, essentially. We've got a foodie romance as well, because she moves, I think it's all set in Hawaii, by the way, so it has an incredible setting. The hero, he has this restaurant or resort, I don't remember what it was, but he has this kind of hospitality place in at Hawaii, and he hires the heroine for the I think the food and beverage part. So he has a chef, but she is kind of hired to vamp up the menu or something like that. So she goes over there to help him out, and they have a lot of history together, because essentially the heroine fell in love with him the first moment she saw him, and she actually saw him before her sister did. So it was kind of like a situation of the sister actually stole the guy before the heroine could make a move or something like that, but then her sister passed away. So now she has a shot at a romance with him, but at the same time, what will society think of her going for her dead sister's partner, right? So there's a lot of, again, angst, tension, a lot of kind of past things to work through as well. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one as well, and I will definitely recommend it. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is one that I think is most fitting to pick up during the summer. Even though the summer is coming to an end, you maybe can pick it up sometime soon before summer ends. It's called One Hot Italian Summer. This one features a heroine who is a writer. She's a writer, and she used to be part of a writing duo, and her partner, with whom she worked, also came to tragically pass. So she's kind of in a situation of, she doesn't know whether she's going to be able to continue to write because she has never written alone. And her agent is like, well, you still have a contract with a publishing house where you need to still complete a story, so you need to find a way to get over your situation. So maybe I can help you out. If you go to my villa in Italy, maybe you'll have like inspiration striking or something, and you can go ahead and write over there. So the heroine agrees to go to this villa in Italy. And she actually doesn't know that in that villa, said agent's ex-husband and child live there. So there is this awkward meet cute between the agent's ex-husband and our heroine, and also the child there as well. So this one is, again, a bit forbidden. It's very much filled with the amazing Italian setting, food, and all the Italian goodness within the book. Everything that you would want to see during the summer in Italy. And also, obviously, a very kind of, a little bit of a slow burn romance, as well as a lot of tension, angst, and you notice the pattern here with Karina Halle's book. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one as well, and I would definitely urge you to pick it up as well. So unfortunately, these were all the books that I have read by Karina Halle, but my TBR for this author is definitely quite long. I still want to read the vampire books that she wrote. I think it's a duet, like the Blood Orange book was the first one, I think, and then the second one, was it Black Sunshine or something like that? I don't remember the titles, but I want to read those books. I definitely want to continue on with the Underworld God series, and I definitely want to pick up a couple of the contemporaries that I haven't read yet by Karina Halle. So unfortunately, I have not read very many of the books, but at least 7. I can definitely vouch for these, that you definitely should check them out. And then I did see that Jenn from the Book Refuge, she also posted a video that features her top 10 books by Karina Halle. I'm going to link her video below actually, because I think she posted it already, so I'm going to link it down below so you can check out her recs as well. And I think that she has her thoughts on the situation as well, so you can get some insight from her as well. So I'm going to link her channel down below, or the video that she posted on her channel down below if you want to check it out. But essentially, yeah, this wraps up my video with recommendations by Karina Halle. And I really hope that we get more support within the romance community and less of the drama. Less of these horrific attacks that are just not necessary. I mean, if you don't like an author, just move on. Don't focus on their work. I mean, there's plenty of romance authors that are not my cup of tea, but that does not mean that I'm going to yuck on someone else's yum, as people say. I'm not going to go out of my way to talk negatively about someone because I want to have the engagement of the audience and just have the views and the likes and the clicks and the new subscribers and whatever. I don't think that is something that should make us feel validated in the way that we act within the book community. I think we should really focus more on the positive. At least I hope that more people do. Not that I'm trying to call out people, but I do have to say that lately I have noticed a lot of people coming out with these kind of spilling the tea kind of videos, and I've noticed a couple of booktubers gaining a lot of traction because they have found out that this really works for their channel, because they're spilling the tea every single week and they're noticing that like 2 or 3 months ago they were at 2,000 subscribers and now they're at 10K. And I can fully imagine that this kind of popularity can definitely influence you to want to do the same thing more, because it is a pattern and it shows that this is something that the people want to see. But at the same time, should we be feeding that beast? Should we be continuing on to do what everyone is doing to get those clicks and likes and subs? I mean, I don't, and I wouldn't. Or at least this is just the message that I want to send out into the universe. So thank you so much for sticking around if you did until this point. And please don't forget to subscribe if you like my content. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care.